I love library.
Can you imagine hundreds of year-old art being washed away by over-tourism and flooding? How could you stop this? Do any of you have any idea? Well, this is actually happening in Venice, Italy, and it has been for decades now. There has been over-tourism and flooding, but Venice has come up with some solutions like having the tourists pay taxes or a dam system. As we move forward, I will talk about Venice, Italy. We will look at the Venetian art, such as sculptures, waterways, and the architecture. Then we will move to the challenges that Venice faces, like the over-tourism and flooding, and then solutions, the taxes, and the dam system. To begin, let's look at the Venetian art sculptures. As seen through cvenice.it, a website, art has a historical meaning in Venice. This wing line can be seen throughout Venice all over the place. And it has a human-like appearance, and you can see that it's sticking out its tongue, and it's meant to be intimidating, to scare off humans and intruders. Another type of art is their architecture. In the article walksofitaly.com, they talk about the Gothic style of architecture that Venice has and has had since the 12th century. In this picture, you can see how they have those curved archways, and that's a Gothic appearance instead of those pointed ones. Another thing that this article liked to talk about was the materials used for the architecture. So since half of the building is underwater, they use stone under it, and they use bricks because they're light and they don't absorb water. They also stack very easily next to each other and allow for little movement, which helps adjust the building when it's in the water. And then for the top portion of the building, they like to use wood because it's light and it holds the formation together. So now looking at the challenges that Venice faces, one of them is over-tourism. As you can see on this bridge, this is one of their normal days. Because of all that walking and all that boating that occurs from them, it just drains Venice. And a statistic that was stated from a website called Responsible Travel says that on their busiest day, they have about 120,000 tourists there compared to the 55,000 locals that live there. So it's a big difference. Another challenge that Venice faces is flooding, and this happens on a regular basis. In the article, Italy's plan to save Venice from sinking, they talk about climate change. If the temperature keeps increasing and the sea levels keep rising, then this will continue to be a problem in Venice. The water levels in 2019 had a record high of 187 centimeters, and that put about 80% of Venice underwater. Because of that, the mayor estimated about €1 billion in damages, and that put the economy in a bad place. BBC.com stated that the higher levels also made it so that they had to declare a state of emergency. So now looking at the possible solutions, first for over-tourism, the taxes that they would have the tourists pay, which was €5, which may not seem like a lot, but it made the tourists not want to come because it was a hassle for them. Now for flooding, as you can see, the MOSE system, which stands for Experimental Electromechanical Model, is meant to block the high water tides that come into the Venetian lagoon. And so far, they've had it for a couple of years and it's worked pretty well, but they're trying to tweak it just a little bit to make it work to its max potential. Overall, hopefully both of these solutions work and it will help rehabilitate Venice. To sum up everything that we talked about, I talked about Venice, Italy. We looked at Venetian art, like their sculptures and architecture. Then we looked at the challenges, over tourism and flooding, and then solutions like the taxes and the dam system. When considering the beautiful art that Venice has and the 55,000 locals that live there, it's important to consider the problems and the solutions that occur there, because maybe one day we might have to think of the same problems.
Yay! That was so good.